It is time for our conversation with Rob Manchester, head coach at Georgia Military College. Big win on Saturday over Lackawanna. We'll play them twice. This was the first of the two in Georgia this week, and in about 2 months, maybe a little less than, in Pennsylvania. Coach, you got to be pleased. Came out of there with a W and a 5-point win, but it was a game that you probably could have won by substantially more.
I certainly think so. I mean, all respect and credit to, Lackawanna. They didn't quit when we got up 13-0, and they did some things that we got to get better on defensively. I think, talking with Coach Reddy and the offense, they felt like they probably, left some points on the board as well. And it probably made it a little bit more interesting than it should have been, but that you got to give Lackawanna credit. And, it's going to be a dog fight when we go back up there, but we got to worry about Monroe. It's always good to get a win. And it's a lot easier to make those corrections and everything after a good win. So it's a ranked opponent. We beat them, but now we got to worry about Monroe, like I said.
Assess the play. Chip Cooper had the injury, sat out a week, back through his first pick of the year. His performance after the injury.
I don't think he's necessarily was right at 100%, but he's our guy. He was able to orchestrate the offense. Made a miraculous play on the lateral. Who knows if sure Lackawanna is complaining that forward progress probably should have been blown, but that's kind of Chip. He's a magician at times. Don't think he was able to scramble like he wanted to, but he makes things happen, and obviously that lateral on the option to Traquan. But I think he may have been a little bit reserved, not scrambling like he normally does. We just missed. I think, like I said just a second ago, Coach Reddy, just a couple missed opportunities. We had a couple balls, I think, that could have been touchdowns that we underthrew a little bit or just a little bit overthrown. But, he's getting healthier. He's back this week, almost getting close to 100%, if not 100%. And but no, I feel really good about him.
It seems like in these big games, Tyler's an example. You get that one play that's kind of the turning point, despite the fact that against Tyler, you win it by 25. It was that pick six that kind of turned the game around. Was that play where Chip Cooper tosses back to Traquan Jones and he winds up scampering into the end zone for the touchdown? Was that kind of the key play in that particular game?
I think definitely pivotal because, we had gotten up, 27-14 again. I know there was a call that, Coach Turner, defense coordinator, I wish he had back. We kind of went an all-out blitz, and that running back for Lackawanna is really good. Number 5, he scampered 39 yards. So we gave up that one, and then we come right back with the interception, and then we're down, 28-27, and then we're able to get that big run there by Traquan to go back up. I think it was 34 to what was it, 28. So we were able to go up one more score, kind of maybe put a little bit of a damper on their momentum. We kept getting up on them, and then we let them get back in it. But I was extremely proud of the defense because really, we let them score again, but those things we can correct on film to go up on us. But the last 3 series that we're hanging on to that lead, we made them punt, and 2 of them were punt 3 and out. So we were able to get some pressure, a couple sacks. We were able to stop them, not let them score again. So may not have been the prettiest in the world, but we were able to stop them when we needed to. And I'm a former defense coordinator. I'm a defensive guy. I don't care if we give up 99. If we score 100, we're good. So I'm not gonna be screaming that we gave up 35 points. It's kind of same thing like against Iowa Western. We're able to correct some mistakes and be better for it.
Well, and to go along with allowing points, you got the top scoring offense in the NJCAA right now, so you can counter that and do it well.
I mean, we've been able to put some points on the board. I think we're also leading the country in rushing. I mean, we're going to be a run first team, and it opens up other things for us. We also scored quickly. But if you go back and look at it, I know Coach was kind of frustrated. We had on offense 6 punt, 3 and out, so we weren't able to. That's only 18 plays. We weren't able to extend drives. You go back and you watch the film, you maybe a drop ball or one block away from getting that first down or what have you. But it was really a team effort because I think when they did make us punt, Cole Snyder, kudos to him. I mean, he was able to get some great punts off and flip the field, especially their last 3 drives. So that was big. And then we were able to get the big play there to Keenan Phillips, that almost 60-yard pass for the touchdown, and that was huge. The punt. So total team effort, and we were glad to come away with the win. Obviously,
Ranked number 6 in the country now, and still right in the thick of things. Is it just me, but it almost seems like the ranking and the possibility of a Final Four appearance kind of it forces the focus on each week versus looking ahead to other games.
I mean it's been on each week from day one. We can't get caught up in it. We're not talking about it. It's just another step in the process. It's going to be a process to potentially be in the top 4. We got a lot of tough games left, and each and every one of them are tough. We got to go on the road this week. And Monroe's 2-1. They got a good squad. Coach Pulley does a really good job with them up there. They look good on film, physically, the way they look, and they're going to play extremely, extremely hard. So we got to be able to go up there and match that, and be able to come home with a win.
Give us the travel plans. There's this little problem out in the Gulf of Mexico, Helene. Is it going to create any issues?
I think we're going to get a lot of rain tomorrow, and then we already got a plan to go inside. We're fortunate to have several inside gymnasiums here, so we'll be able to get some good work on a Thursday. We're going to be leaving out tomorrow, and we're going to be heading east, so we're going to kind of be going away from it. Friday looks like it's when it's really supposed to make landfall and move up this way, and hopefully we'll be well on our work on the road north. So we just got to get on out of here, which looks like we're going to be able to. It's going to be a lot of rain, but our thoughts and prayers would be everybody back home, just because that much rain, and then I think they're calling for 5-8 inches or something up around north part of the state, and a lot around here. Heavy winds, 40-mile an hours. Just hope that there's not much power outages and trees falling and that kind of stuff. But we'll be thinking about our families and everybody here back home.
Now, what about the trip back? I mean, are you concerned that it's difficult to get back?
I mean, you never. I don't think so. I mean, it looks like it's going to be taking a path going north and west. So hopefully it's not going to be going to the east. And by Saturday evening, hopefully all of it's kind of cleared out of there and we're able to get home safely. But hopefully, who knows? But we'll get home one way or the other.
How many players going this trip? I know you mentioned that the trip to Tyler, you packed the bus. Folks might have been sitting in laps. I don't know, to
Yeah,
get
we'll still have
everybody there.
yeah, we'll still have around 70. Between 65 and 70. Our plan is just to get on the road and stop up in Pennsylvania, on Friday morning to eat, and then get to the hotel early in the afternoon. And looks like we found a place to go do our normal Friday routine and get out on our feet and just get ready to go try to beat a really good Monroe team.
The health of the Bulldogs going into the Monroe game.
I mean, this time of year you got some nicks and bruises, but we're 100% healthy. We're not having to leave anybody home due to injury. Maybe a little ankle here and there or something, but we're going to be at full strength and really no injuries or issues on this end.
Coach, good luck against Monroe, and we'll talk after the game.
Well, thank you so much. Look forward to talking to you, hopefully with a win.
Hi, everybody, and welcome as we get set for a Saturday afternoon of football. The weather in the Deep South has been rugged, and the weather in New York is kind of nasty as well. The Bulldogs and Mustangs about to get play underway. If there's smudge marks, watermarks on the camera, then that's compliments of Mother Nature. And a big thank you to Monroe University. They are providing the video that allows us the opportunity to bring you live coverage of the Bulldogs and the Mustangs there in New York. The opening kickoff, it is Perez, and receiving will be Monroe from the 8 to the 20 and out to the 25-yard line, and that is where things begin for Monroe University. Monroe University coming in with a 2-1 mark. They've knocked off Sussex and Wagner's JV. They lost in the season opener to a Highland squad. Bulldogs 4-1, ranked number 6 in the nation. Taking on the Mustangs. The only loss absorbed by Georgia Military was that season opening loss to Iowa Western, who was then 1 and is now number 2 after they were knocked off in game number 2 of the year for Iowa Western by the then 2 and now 1 Hutch. It is first down and 10 from the 25. Pass complete to the 32 and out across the 39-yard line. And pass play picking up enough for the first. The Mustangs come out tossing the football into the hands of Jaquil St. Cyr. And it is a first down and 10 at the 39-yard line for the Mustangs. Well, every game this year for Georgia Military College is kind of a must-win from here on out after the loss to Iowa Western if you want to get into the Final Four. Not a whole lot of running room. One of the toughest colleges against the run. That is Yasin Latham, the freshman out of Montclair, New Jersey. Able to squeak out a yard or two and bring up a second down and long. Georgia Military College, very good against the run. As a matter of fact, they would prefer that these Mustangs put the ball on the ground. Raiden Oliver at QB with a 5-receiver set, though. Sure doesn't look like a run play here unless Oliver's the guy that does it on a second down and 8. Pass caught at the 46-yard line, met and dropped immediately. But the pass play, well, originally looked like a complete pass to Jana Moore, but Rob Manchester there on the sidelines going, hey, I think that was incomplete. The officials confer, they agree. Incomplete pass, and it will bring up a third down and 8. Opening drive of the football game. And wow, the weather in the south has been awful. Helene creating all kinds of issues. And I don't know if it is Helene which is bringing issues to New York, but it's raining there. And as I mentioned, providing video for us is Monroe University. And they had an issue getting things started because of the weather. Timeout on the field asked for by Monroe.
Georgia Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship-trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia, your home for orthopedic.
Well, less than a couple of minutes into the football game, already a timeout asked for by the Mustangs, but obviously to them a key drive, key play on a 3rd and 8. Oliver drops back, rushed. It is picked off. Bulldogs 30, 20, 10 into the end zone. Touchdown on the pick 6. And the Bulldogs already on the board. Compliments of the defense. Walter Hicks. Not going to be able to do it often during the course of the year, but does here. He will snag and ramble 31 yards for the touchdown in Georgia Military College. Already on the board, a 6-0 advantage. So what a way to start for the Bulldogs. They don't have their offense on the field yet. And you've already got 6 compliments of Walker Hicks. That is the second pick 6 of the season. And the Bulldogs go up 6-zip. Perez trying to make it a 7-zip lead. Snap high, kick looks good. There's a flag on the play, though. And let's see if the extra point will stand or if the infraction will bring it back. I'm looking at heads, kind of looking skyward for Monroe, which would be an indication that the infraction is going to be charged to the Mustangs, and the conversion will be good. But let's wait and see. Let's get the official indication. Well, the Bulldog special units headed to the sidelines. That's a good sign. Bulldogs lead it by 7.
The final episode of the Pest Control Guys. It's the competition that could win them the biggest contract of their life for Karen Moneybags. You won't believe what happens when we let the guys inside the house. It's 3 guys up for 1 contract. Only one can say, I do accept the contract. Next on the Pest Control Guys. Sponsored by Bughouse Pest Control. Protect your house with Bughouse.
Extra point good. The penalty was against the Mustangs. It was assessed on the kickoff. So Perez will boot it into the back of the end zone. It'll be brought out to the 25. And that is where the drive number 2 for the Mustangs will begin. And you haven't yet seen the offense for the Bulldogs. And the Bulldogs already on top by a 7-zip score on the 31-yard interception return by Walker Hicks. And the Bulldogs leading this one. Well, I was wondering where the Bulldogs were concerned. Would it be kind of a repeat of what happened in Texas when the Bulldogs made the not as long trip to Tyler, and it took about a half to get their feet underneath them? Well, the defense already looking good. Not a whole lot of running room trying to try on the left side is Latham. And Latham will be stopped after no gain. As the clock gets inside 13, a couple of minutes into the ball game, and the Bulldogs already on the board. McCray had the other pick 6. It came in a road game too. Actually, a loss of a yard or 2 brings up a 2nd down and long. Oliver to pass, looks, fires, and it is tipped away, out of bounds and incomplete. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and long situation. I believe one more week. It's kind of semi on the road. Well, it is on the road, but sometimes a home game for the Bulldogs. That is next week against Lewisburg up in South Carolina. 3rd down and 12. Football back to the 23. Over the middle with the completion, but it is back to the original line of scrimmage. Got the 2 yards back, lost on the previous play. Kaim Powell on the snag, but it'll bring up a 4th down and long and a kicking situation. Again, thanks to Monroe University, they are providing the camera ops, the video. And as I mentioned, they are on top Well, did I mention it? I'm not sure that I did. Now I will. They are sitting on top of the press box. They're in Mount Vernon, New York. Out in the elements. It is raining. It is windy. So thank you very much. Hopefully they're going to be able to continue with that video connection. If not, we've got problems because we are relying on them. Punt to the 36. That is Bland across the 40 to the 41, maybe the 42-yard line. And Darrell Bland with a return of 4, and for the first time this afternoon, we will see the Bulldog offense get out onto the field. 7-zip Bulldog lead, ranked number 6 in the country. And more importantly than a 6 ranking right now is keeping that record at 1 loss and continuing to rack up the wins. That's the goal. That's the plan in hopes of eventually making their way to the Final Four. And obviously, everybody wants a trip to the championship game. Cooper with a give up the middle, gain of 2 on a first down carry for Traquan Jones. So the first play from scrimmage will net a yard, maybe 2. We'll call it a 2nd down and 9. Still not quite 5 minutes into the football game. Georgia Military College headed out at about 8:30 on Thursday night. That was just ahead of Helene. I think if they had waited till midnight, might still be in Georgia. Handoff again to Jones. Jones across the 45. He'll make his way to the 46, gain 3. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and short. Artificial turf at Memorial Field. So muddy conditions not really an issue, but with the rain, slickness becomes an issue. And that football, I'm not sure how many ounces it is. 11, 14? Starts feeling like much more. 3rd down, we'll call it 6. Got to get inside Mustang territory to pick up the first. Cooper will fire, and I believe that is going to be incomplete. Well, wait a minute. It is a complete pass. Boy, from this vantage point, looked like Trenton Smith wasn't able to get a foot in fair territory, but he did, and it was right at the down marker. And it'll be a 1st down and 10 for Georgia Military as they are inside the 48, near the 47 of the Mustangs. I don't think Trenton Smith was on the receiving end of a number of tosses early in the year, but he's become a favorite target. 7th reception of the year from Cooper. Flushed out of the pocket, Cooper. And wow, there was a last-minute toss back to his trailing back. I believe that was Jones. Well, after the success last week on that 48-yarder, Cooper's like, let me try it again. By the way, that is not Jones in the backfield now. It is Keenan Phillips. Gain of 5 brings up a 2nd and 5 at the 43. Phillips loses the football. Mustangs have it. There may be more of that today. Phillips coughs it up at the 42. So each team with a turnover. Hicks, the pick, and the 6. And here Phillips, the drop of the Mustangs ball at the 42. So a break for the Mustangs. And a Georgia Military College drive that started at their 41 dies at the 42 of the Mustangs on the loose pigskin. And again, with conditions like today, that could happen more often than not, unfortunately. 1st down and 10 at the 42 for the Mustangs after the fumble recovery. And I would say Oliver's thinking about upstairs. Doesn't have anybody in the backfield. 5 receivers set. As we're at the 9:29 mark in the opening stanza. Oliver dropping back, looking downfield. Bulldogs converge. It is thrown out of bounds. And it'll be an incomplete pass, bringing up a 2nd down and 10. Hey, coming up at halftime, JUCO Rush. It is a program focused exclusively on junior college football, and we're going to squeeze it in at halftime. And yep, in the third stands, at least the plan is to do what we typically do in the third, and that is get you updated not only on scores from all over the country in the NJCAA. Mississippi played on Thursday. One relative surprise, Holmes beating Jones. Passes caught by Evan Harrington. And Harrington picking up the first, getting inside Georgia Military College territory with the 48. And it'll be a 1st down and 10. But also coming up in the third, we're going to do what we typically do. And give you a chance to send your shout-outs to whomever, from wherever. That all happens in the third. First down and 10 inside Bulldog territory. First trip in for the Mustangs at the 49. Latham again on the carry. Most productive carry of the afternoon thus far, as he will pick up 7. And it'll bring up a 2nd down and 3 with the football at the 42. Opening stanza of play. Georgia Military College, a pick 6. Got the 7-zip lead. Oliver, 492 yards through the air thus far this year. And by the way, as I mentioned, inclement weather and thus some raindrops on the camera lens. Oliver dropping back, looks, wants to fire long. It's one-on-one coverage, incomplete, too long with the toss. And a receiver open, but an incomplete pass. And our thanks to all the folks there at Monroe University. They are braving the elements. They're the guys that are out in the weather, the wind and the rain in New York, and sending us footage back. 3rd down 3 after the incompletion. Football at the 42-yard line. Oliver giving a look to the sidelines. Steps up. Fires. It is incomplete. And you got to believe a slink football is partly to blame as the rain continues to fall and the wind continues to blow. And it'll bring up a 4th down and 4. Doesn't look like a punting situation for the Mustangs. They are thinking more about picking up the 4 yards for the first and keeping the drive alive. Too far out for field goal. If you're trying to boot it through the uprights, you're looking at about a 60-something yarder. That's a good distance for a collegiate player and kicker from any division. So the Mustangs go for it on a 4th down. Latham wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. And on a loss of downs, Bulldogs will get the football back. So though it was painful from the perspective of stopping the drive on the fumble, no damage done. Mustangs cannot produce points. And on a 4th down and 4, Latham is snuffed out, and the Bulldog offense will trot back onto the field. $7:33 left to play, opening quarter. Televas from one side of the line to the other. Cooper with a give to Kinsha, and there was a penalty flag tossed into the fray. And that looked like a rugby match with that mass of humanity at the 46-yard line. So let's see if the 3 yards gained by Kitchen are coming back, and it is. There you see the infraction. Holding, it'll be marked off from the point of infraction and charged to the Bulldogs. So instead of a 2nd down and 7, a replay of first, but back to the 34-yard line, where it is 1st down and 10, Georgia Military. Cooper 1 for 1 thus far in the ball game. 491 yards through the air this season. Kitchen again on the carry. He'll get 3. And it'll bring up a 2nd down and long. You kind of anticipate with the nasty weather on a Saturday afternoon that we are going to see more run than pass. Kitchen coming out of the game. Traquan Jones back in. Thank you, guys. Working on trying to get the rain off of the lens there in New York. Smudged it a little bit, but hey, they're working with some really nasty conditions in New York. Cooper steps back, and there is a flag. False start will be charged. The Bulldogs 5 yards back instead of a 2nd and 15. They'll be looking at about a 2nd and near 20. And again, I want to say thanks to Monroe University, braving the elements, giving us a camera feed. In a situation, by the way, where Helene probably prohibited us from being able to set up cameras and do what we typically do. So thank you very much to David Siegel, all the guys there at Monroe University. Handoff given to Jones up the middle. He will fight his way forward to the 40 and bring up a 3rd down and a little more manageable football at the 40-yard line, where it is 3rd down and 13. Bulldogs have got to get inside Mustang territory to the 46 to pick up the 1st. Thanks, too, to all the folks that are making our coverage possible. And we'll talk about the Bug House and GMC and Ortho Georgia and Coca-Cola and more a bit later on. 3rd down and long. Cooper rolls to his left, looks downfield, got a target open, incomplete. On a dry afternoon, you might make the catch. On a rainy afternoon, Ricardo Tarver can't bring it in. And it'll bring up a 4th down in a punting situation. Cole Snyder in to kick. Well, he has seen that kicking average grow. I think it started at about 34 the opening game, 41 per kick coming into a Saturday. That's down to the 8-yard line, where it is 1st down and 10 for the Mustangs. Well, thanks, guys, again, that water building up. You're trying to get the moisture off the camera lens. And we appreciate the Mustangs and their video crew braving the elements all the way to the 6. And for the first time, Oliver taking a snap from underneath center. No running room. Latham dropped at the 3, loss of 3. And it'll bring up a 2nd down and 13. 5 minutes, 11 seconds left to play here in the opening quarter. And Oliver says, heck, we're more productive playing from the gun. So he will step into the end zone to take the snap on a 2nd down, and we'll call it 12, loss of 2 on the Latham carry. Latham steps up. Oliver to pass. Nearly picked off, but instead the catch made, and not only breathing room, but a first down on the pass play to Alex Simmons, the big tight end out of Brooklyn, New York, making the catch. And finding his way to the 20-yard line where it is first down and 10 for the Mustangs. Nose of the football just shy of the 20. And a first down and 10. That was a big pass play on a 2nd and 12. In motion goes Powell. New back in the backfield, same results. Deshaun Allen, he is wrestled to the turf. Way behind the line of scrimmage. Back to the 6. And it'll bring up a 2nd down and long. How about a 2nd down and right at 22? Oliver again near his own end zone. And his running back, Rodriguez Johnson, is standing in the end zone. Actually, that is Latham, and Latham tripped up at the 7. Excellent open field tackle when it looked like there might be some positive running room around the end, but able to reach up and grab the shoelaces was Damari Jordan. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and long. Football at the 8. And the Mustangs have got to get across the 30 to pick up the first. Well, over the course of the season, this has been that Achilles heel for Georgia Military. And instead of a pass play, a run, Latham not going anywhere, dropped at the 7, may have lost a yard. 4th and 23 coming up. And a punting situation for Monroe. And in to do the honors is Aki Green. Check that, Kai Collins. Boy, we're in this era where lots of guys wear the same numbers. You've got an Aki Green, who's a defensive back. You've got a Kai Collins, who is a kicker. And this is Collins, who will boot it away. Bland, kind of dangerous when you consider the field conditions, but able to hang on at the 35, and that's where the Bulldogs will have it. First down and 10. Well, I mentioned that there are folks that we need to recognize that are making our coverage possible and do it game in and game out. Like Seabiz, or how about Enos Legal? I know you're going to want to go to the Pickle Barrel, Coca-Cola, Bug House, Ortho Georgia, GMC, all making it possible that we bring you coverage of Georgia Military College football on a Saturday afternoon. Line of scrimmage, the 35. This is the best field position of the ball game for Cooper and company. Give goes to Tarver on the end around, and Tarver makes it to the 28. Gain of 7 on a first down carry, bringing up a 3rd down. A 2nd down and 3. It'll be a few weeks before we're back to Davenport Field in Milledgeville, Georgia. Got next week a trip to Casey, South Carolina. The following week is open. Can you believe we're better than halfway through the year? Didn't we just start this thing maybe a week or two ago? Seems that way. Handoff given up the middle. And I believe that is Jones. Yes, Jones. About a yard shy of the first. 3rd down and 1. Maybe even less than 1. Cooper on the keeper. And he'll dive forward, I do believe, for the first. Monroe says no, but sure looked like that forward progress got him beyond the 25, which would be a first down. And the officials concur. So it is a first down and 10. I think the guys on the sidelines like, Man, we don't want to move. We found a comfortable spot. But they've got to move it. Making the 15 the first down mark. As we get into the final seconds of the opening stanza. Tarver in motion. Cooper. Pitch out goes to Jones. Inside the 20. Spins to the 15. Down to the 11, the 10, the 9-yard line. But there is a penalty flag as the quarter comes to an end. So I'm not sure this one's going to stand. It's in an area where often you get a hold, and that's what you got. Holding. It is charged Georgia Military, and the first will come to an end on the holding infraction that nullifies a fine Jones run.
Duty, honor, country. Those are the words we live by at Georgia Military College as we aim to instill patriotism in our students as they develop into effective leaders and engaged citizens. Whether you're looking for a traditional college experience with intercollegiate athletics and Corps of Cadets, satellite campuses close to home, or a global online leadership college where you pursue your degree when it's convenient for you, the pathways to opportunities are endless at Georgia Military College. We are committed to helping you succeed as a student in the classroom, as an athlete on the field of competition, as a cadet leading your peers, or as a student online. At Georgia Military College, you can start here, go anywhere.
The final episode of the Pest Control Guys. It's the competition that could win them the biggest contract of their life for Karen Moneybags. You won't believe what happens when we let the guys inside the house. It's 3 guys up for 1 contract. Only one can say, I do accept the contract. Next on the Pest Control Guys. Sponsored by Bug House Pest Control. Protect your house with Bug House.
Georgia Military College provides opportunities to learn, to grow, to lead. The GMC Corps of Cadets will help you build a foundation to start your journey to success. As one of 4 military junior colleges in the nation, GMC provides character-based education, state-of-the-art facilities, physical training, leadership, history, and tradition. Be the leader that makes a difference. Start here. Go anywhere.
Well, we are working on an audio issue, or actually a video issue there in New York. We are getting our video from New York, and they have all kinds of issues that are weather related. It is raining, it is windy, it is miserable in New York. So they are working as we speak feverishly trying to correct a technical issue to allow us to be able to bring you coverage from New York. We do want to take the opportunity to again thanks the folks that make our coverage possible. CBiz, Boardman, Perlman Sports, Enos Legal. Before, during, and after the game, you're going to want to check out Pickle Barrel. And, of course, if you're looking for a refreshing way to end or begin or resume a hot day, Coca-Cola, bugs in the house, you need to check out Bug House, Ortho Georgia, the orthopedic specialists, also making it possible, and Georgia Military College, all responsible for coverage today, and we thank them. Again, our thanks to Monroe University. They are really braving the elements. It is raining and windy. They're on top of the press box there at Mount Vernon, New York, and as soon as we get that video feed back, we'll be back to the coverage on a Saturday afternoon.
The final episode of the Pest Control Guys. It's the competition that could win them the biggest contract of their life for Karen Moneybags. You won't believe what happens when we let the guys inside the house. It's 3 guys up for one contract. Only one can say, I do accept the contract. Next on the Pest Control Guys. Sponsored by Bug House Pest Control. Protect your house with Bug House.
Duty, honor, country. Those are the words we live by at Georgia Military College as we aim to instill patriotism in our students as they develop into effective leaders and engaged citizens. Whether you're looking for a traditional college experience with intercollegiate athletics and Corps of Cadets, satellite campuses close to home, or a global online leadership college where you pursue your degree when it's convenient for you, the pathways to opportunities are endless at Georgia Military College. We are committed to helping you succeed as a student in the classroom, as an athlete on the field of competition, as a cadet leading your peers, or as a student online. At Georgia Military College, you can start here, go anywhere.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back for 2 on the assist.
And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
Well, to try and get you updated as you look at a still photo of Memorial Field there in Mount Vernon, New York, we are getting video feeds from Monroe University. It is raining. It is windy. Apparently their tent has collapsed. Their internet has gone down. And as a result, we have lost our video feed from New York, which allows you to see what is happening. Georgia Military has taken over with 10:42 to play in the second stanza and lead at 7-zip as I try to get you updated kind of adversely, if you will. And, of course, in the opening stanza of play, Georgia Military College, Walker Hicks, a 31-yard interception return. Perez kick good after the fact. And Georgia Military College with a 7-zip lead. It is 1st and 10. Georgia Military with the ball at the 43 of Monroe as they will begin their first drive in the second stanza in a 7-zip game. Again, we're relying on Monroe University for video footage. As soon as it comes back, we are back to the coverage here.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby. You got me falling hard for you. And still, I felt this way before. You know it's true. And still, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
Georgia Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship-trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia, your home for orthopedic excellence.
Well, our apologies. The video feed is non-existent at the moment from Monroe University. If it comes back, we'll get it back. What we've been able to do is locate a live stats page, and I know this is kind of an unusual way of viewing the game, but with no video feed based on a lack of internet due to Mother Nature, wind and rain. Here's what you got at the moment. 4th down and 6 for the Bulldogs. Football at Monroe 24. A 3-play drive, 19 yards total in the drive. You see the time in the quarter. 10:06 to play in the stanza. Some additional stats posted as well. We will continue to monitor, and as soon as the video feed is back, we'll be back with live coverage of Georgia Military and Monroe University. Well, I believe we've been able to regain that coverage from Monroe University. And there you go. All right, our apologies. But again, Mama Nature is to blame. In part, 6:30 to play, opening stanza. 7-zip Bulldog lead, 3rd and 17. And what has transpired over the course of about a half of the second stanza was really just kind of a back and forth. Bulldogs with an opportunity. Oliver on the pass. And that will be picked off. Pick number 2. One for a touchdown. This one, Jorian Haynes. What a grab, maybe. Just to be able to hang on to the football in conditions that exist in New York. But he does, and the Bulldogs will have it at the 29-yard line. But I guess if you are Oliver and company for the Mustangs, you're thinking, well, it is similar to airing it out on a punt. Just a long toss on a 3rd and long. I mean, there are differences, obviously, but you could see the mindset. Line of scrimmage, the 29. And again, now you know I'm not in New York. You knew that anyway, right? Sitting in Alabama, and that is because Helene couldn't get to New York. And as a result, Monroe University has been so kind to allow us to use their video so that you can watch coverage of the ball game. And the problem, of course, where Monroe University is concerned is they're working with really nasty elements. They're on top of the press box there in New York. They're out in the wind. They're out in the rain. I know to begin today for the crew there, their tent got picked up, crushed, blown away. So they were late getting on based on the fact that Mother Nature had already wreaked a little pregame havoc. And now Mother Nature has done a little bit in the midst of the game as well. But we are thankful they have feverishly worked to get the feed back. And it is a 2nd down and 11, giving the football to Jones, and Jones will cross the 30 to the 31-yard line and turn it into a 3rd down and long. The weather conditions, too, contributing to what you see, a 7-zip score. You know, ESPN does this a lot. They have remote access. They got the camera crew and the audio crew there on location, and then their announcers are in a studio somewhere calling the game. This is the first that we have done it, and it was based exclusively on necessity. Cooper to toss. And what a perfect pass, right on the money. He'll have the 1st and more. The toss to Lee Niles. Inside Mustang territory. Down to about the 41-yard line. That was just a perfectly placed football from Chip Cooper. To the 42, where it is 1st down and 10. Cooper steps up in the pocket. Pass is caught again. Run out of bounds. That is Okele. Joshua Okele, the freshman wide receiver. And it is 1st down and 10 at the 28-yard line. Give goes to Jones, running room up the middle. He will find his way towards. Did he get to the end zone, or did he touch the knee down of the one? He is into the end zone. Touchdown. 31 yards. And the Bulldogs turn it into a 13-zip score. And Perez trying to tack on the extra point. Extra point try. It is good, but guess what? We've got a penalty flag again. This is a little reminiscent of the prior touchdown. But it appears the point is going to count, and the penalty yardage will be assessed after the fact.
The University of Alabama Online, where legends log in. A tradition of excellence. Decades of experience in distance learning. Empowering students of all ages. More than 90 degree and certificate programs to advance your career. UA Online. Flexible, affordable, legendary. Let your computer be your campus. Visit online.ua.edu.
.408 to play, opening half, 14-zip Bulldog lead. As Perez will put it into the end zone, it'll be brought out to the 25-yard line. Hey, thanks so much for the kind text, understanding the conditions, Helene, and the fact that from where I live in South Alabama, couldn't make the trip to New York. There are landslides and flooding on the path. So we were like, okay, got to have a method. The folks at Monroe University, David Spiegel, the SID, saying, hey, can we send you a video feed? Can you use that? And I'm like, let's give it a shot. And really, if it wasn't such a miserable day in New York, I like the test. I like the experiment. I like the result of the experiment, except for that rain element. As the Oliver pass over the middle is caught to the 36-yard line. And that will be enough for the first down on the pass play to the wide receiver, Jashawn Amon. And it is a first down and 10, and there is a timeout on the field. With a timeout on the field, let's pause and be right back.
Georgia Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia, your home for ortho.
First down and 10 after the pass play to Amin. It is the Mustangs with the football. It's the Bulldogs with a 2-touchdown lead. Oliver will drop back, flushed out of the pocket. Got a receiver open, his safety valve. And that is an incomplete pass intended for Latham coming out of the backfield. .328 to play, opening half at the half. JUCO rush coming up. That was Keenan Phillips, by the way, that scored on the touchdown run for Georgia Military College of 28 yards. It came at the 4:08 mark in the stanza. Oliver to pass on a 1st and 10. It is caught at the 41. On the reception is Charles Hamaker. Phillips, one of the top scorers in the country, adds another one. Turns it into a 14-zip score about 3 minutes and 16 seconds away from halftime. As I mentioned at the half, we got the JUCO rush to fill up your halftime here on JockJive. Oliver to pass on a 3rd and 5, a little tall with a toss. Incomplete offering, trying to get into the midst of Jashawn Amen. And apparently they're having those video issues again in New York. We'll be back in a moment.
Georgia Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia, your home for orthopedic excellence.
Out across the 40 after the punt and the first down play for Georgia Military. Jones picking up right at 7. It'll bring up a second down and 3. Cooper drops back, and he is hammered while the ball is incomplete. Or the pass is incomplete. I guess the ball isn't incomplete. The ball's complete. It's the pass that's incomplete. And it'll bring up a third down and short. That's confidence in your run game, though. On a second down and right at 3, you're thinking, let's do what a lot of teams do on a 2nd and 1 or a 2nd and a half yard. Let's go for the bomb, knowing that we can come back and pick up the first on a 3rd. Let's see what happens on a 3rd down. And yep, the option play and the first down and more. That'll be Jones twisting his way to the 48-yard line. And it will bring up a first down and 10 as we have hit the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes away from halftime on JockJive.
The final episode of the Pest Control Guys. It's the competition that could win them the biggest contract of their life for Karen Moneybags. You won't believe what happens when we let the guys inside the house. It's 3 guys up for 1 contract. Only one can say, I do accept the contract. Next on the Pest Control Guys. Sponsored by Bug House Pest Control. Protect your house with Bug House.
14-zip Bulldog lead, a couple of minutes away from halftime. Again, our apologies for the interruptions, but I'm not going to blame Monroe University. Boy, have they gone out of their way to try to be able to bring us a video feed in some really nasty weather in New York. It's raining, it's windy. As I mentioned, their cover, they're on top of the press box, their cover got blown away just prior to the start of the game. They are literally battling the elements to be able to get us a video feed so that we can bring you the coverage. And Helene said, heck, you're not going to New York. Stay put, boy. So we said, Helene, you know what? We're going to find an alternative plan. Thank you very much, Monroe University. And thank you for tolerating those interruptions in coverage. Compliments of Mama Nature and all she's doing. And a defensive touchdown, an offensive touchdown. Bulldogs with a 14-zip lead, 2 minutes away from halftime. At halftime, the JUCO rush. And then we are hoping Mother Nature will kind of back off in Mount Vernon, New York. And we can get to the last 2 quarters of the football game. Cooper, that's almost picked off. And I guess it is ruled a pass. Looked like that arm was moving forward, and the defensive back, Jordan Byron, didn't have to fall on it, as you've got, again, interruptions there in New York. But he didn't have to fall on it as if it were a forward fumble. Instead, he would have had to pick it off, and he didn't. So we've lost our video feed again. You see the time clicking off the clock as we are in the first half of action in a 14-zip ball game. Mustangs coming in with a 2-1 mark. Bulldogs with a 4-1 record. We're hoping that video is going to pop back up at any moment. We'll get to the rest of the first half and get to the JUCO rush at halftime. And Georgia Military looking to improve on that 4-1 record and that number 6 ranking. And speaking of a 6 ranking, we're going to be talking at halftime with Mike Frazier on the JUCO rush about just that. Polls and more. So check that out coming up at the half. I know we've got a black screen, and it looks like now we've got a loss of footage. So I might can, and hey, we're doing this on the fly now. go back to your screen that gives you a look at live stats. And it's got us at the 2-minute mark. Let's see if I can get that updated for you, and we can let you know exactly what the Bulldogs are doing. Looks like that was the last time it was updated. Football inside the 40, where it is 3rd and 13, and there's a couple of minutes left to play in the first half. Georgia Military College with the football. And you see the scoring plays. The first one came on the Walker Hicks pick of 31 yards. And then the second, 4 minutes left to play in the first half, Keenan Phillips punching it in from 28 yards out. That was more than a punch in. And it's a 14-zip ball game in the first half. Let's see if we've got our video footage back. We don't. So we'll go to break and see if we can update you as to whether we are or are not at halftime.
The final episode of the Pest Control Guys. It's the competition that could win them the biggest contract of their life for Karen Moneybags. You won't believe what happens when we let the guys inside the house. It's 3 guys up for 1 contract. Only one can say, I do accept the contract. Next on the Pest Control Guys. Sponsored by Bughouse Pest Control. Protect your house with Bughouse.
Georgia Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship-trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia, your home for orthopedic excellence.
Well, there you see on your screen, it is halftime at the half there in New York. 14-zip Georgia Military College lead again. They have lost their video feed. And as a matter of fact, I saw a note on the YouTube chat room that they were going forward despite possibly losing gear. And I get that. Been in that situation where you're out in the elements. As a matter of fact, if the road was passable and I was in New York, I would be where they are. And I get sacrificing equipment. So thanks, guys, at Monroe University. Halftime, 14-zip lead. We're going to give you the JUCO rush, and we're hoping to have video feedback. If not, we will be forced to wrap up early coverage of GMC and Monroe.
This is the JUCO Rush. I'm Mike Fraser. He's Robert Williamson, proud sponsor here of the JUCO Rush. Allen Beverages down there in Gulfport, Mississippi. They're a proud Pepsi Cola bottler. Allen Beverages, refreshingly local since 1947. Pepsi, a proud sponsor, and we're happy to have them on board here on the JUCO Rush. Also, Sport FX Designs. Give them a look. They are providing our graphics here for the JUCO Rush as we dive in here, as we want to promote NJCAA athletics and really the talented football players that get it done here. All right, Robert, let's take a look at the rankings here. The latest NJCAA rankings have been released. Robert, through the top 10, what jumps out at you, if anything?
Well, I think one should be Hutch until they're beaten. I think they will get beaten at some point this year. Iowa Western, number 2. I don't have a problem with that. Boy, I'm starting to think like Mike Frazier does, in that maybe Mississippi Gulf Coast should edge out Snow. But there's a big game this week for Snow, so maybe they earn the right to stay at number 3. Kilgore with their win over Navarro, they should be number 5. I can't really complain that much with the top 5.
You know, same with me. I think Gulf Coast should be on that 3 line. I think they're they're 4-0. And they've won against quality of opponents. Look, they knocked off East Mississippi when they were ranked, and East Mississippi, even though they're out of the rankings, that's still a very good football team. They knock off Jones at 27-20, and they've got another rivalry game this weekend. I think they'd be on the 3 line. I'd move Snow down to that. I'd put them right ahead of Garden City through the first top 10. And if Snow continues to win, big test. They got Butler this weekend. They knock off Butler. And of course, they got Iowa Western on the schedule left. Well, you know, now you're showing the mustard that I think Snow has, but just because of the teams they've played early on, that's why I would still put them a little further lower in the poll. 10 through 15, yeah, no problem with Northwest. Holmes is deserving to be up there. I mean, Ben, they're 4-0 on the season down there in Mississippi. Boy, Butler's done a great job. And then, of course, you see Highland, Lackawanna, and Colin rounding out the top 15.
And I agree. 5 through 15. I mean, until we're so early in the year, it is still difficult to know in many instances who the better team is. But I think the pollsters have done a very good job at ranking these, at least thus far. And, you know, you and I on occasion can have a difference of opinion with the pollsters. But in this particular case, I don't think it's a big difference of opinion.
No, and it's still early. Things will sort themselves out. I think the committee's done a terrific job at putting things together. And like I said, I think you're going to have a couple 2-loss teams that get in that top 4.
What about players this past week, their performances? And, man, there's been so many great performances. I know it's difficult to narrow it down to 2 each, but what about your 2?
Yeah, my players of the week. I'm going to start right at Iowa Central. How about quarterback? That's Elliot Paskett Bell. Let's go with New Mexico military quarterback Elliot Paskett Bell. Solid. Put up 328 yards of total offense for the Bronco office. Helped them knock off the Buccaneers with a big conference win. 204 yards and 2 touchdowns. He picked up another 124 yards rushing on the ground. He was a difference maker for NMMI. Nimi gets the big win. That is one of my players of the week. Then I'm staying at the quarterback slot, Robert. And look, I like defensive guys, but you can't pass up Tyler Smith. Great numbers. This guy wasn't even a starter. Smith, 22 of 31 for 354 yards, 4 passing touchdowns against the number 2 team in the country, Iowa Western. And what an effort. They lose the game 41-34, but that man right there is certainly a JUCO Rush Mike Frazier player of the week.
Well, and I can't complain about your 2 picks, but I got 2 different guys I want to focus on. This fella carried the ball 11 times, 163 yards. Anytime you were averaging about 14, 15 yards per pop, and you got a 93-yarder mixed in and touchdown, you know, I got to focus on you. And not only that, also caught a pass for a couple of yards. I mean, that wasn't a big contributing factor of the offense, but definitely his running was. Trey Hall of Mississippi Gulf Coast. Big night last Thursday. And then my number 2 guy, I guess we're going to go to Iowa Western a lot because Iowa Western has got so much talent. Fresh Walters, 6 receptions, 120 yards, and a single touchdown. And then you got another factor to consider where Walters is concerned as well, and that is that he returned 3 kicks for 21 yards per. So about 63 yards in kickoff returns for Fresh Walters. So those
Solid.
2, Hall and Walters.
Yeah, solid guys, no doubt about it. Great photo, by the way, and photo there courtesy of Iowa Western Athletics. We also like to thank Nimi for providing that photo as well, and then the folks down at Mississippi Gulf Coast for providing us with those photos. All right, let's take a look. You talk about Iowa Western, man, a guy that had a tremendous I mean, a tremendous football game. And that was Daniel Swinney, running back for Iowa Western, 16 carries, 128 yards and 3 touchdowns. The JUCO Rush caught up with Swinney to talk to him about his performance. Well, Daniel, the Cup is going back to Council Bluffs. You pick up a quality win against a rival in Iowa Central. And I would imagine, Daniel, that bus had to be rocking on the way back to Council Bluffs last weekend.
It was a little secure win. I say we started off a little bit slow, but it did feel good to secure the Cup and bring it back home to Council Bluffs.
Hey, I got to ask you a question about Mel Manual. You know, we were talking about it before going on the air. Doesn't that kind of prepare you for these big games? Because Mel Manual in the state of Kentucky, which I think is the longest running high school football game, it is such a college-like atmosphere. Does it mentally kind of prepare you for the big games in junior college?
I mean, I would say regardless of who is in attendance to the game, I know that I got to do my part regardless. Like as a running back, I got to make the block. I got to run the ball. I just got to do my assignment, take care of my part, and with hopes of my teammates take care of their part, so we could all just come together and just get the win.
You sat out last year as a redshirt freshman, and I know from a coaching perspective, that's the smart thing to do. In the development perspective, that's the smart thing to do. But as a player, aren't you constantly chomping at the bit wanting to get into a game? And how difficult was it sitting out for a year?
Oh, I would say it was kind of difficult because through my red shirt, they had coaches, players, hey bro, just play. Like you could easily just hop on the field and just play and be a factor. But I knew that it was bigger than this JUCO that where I'm at right now, because JUCO only lasts for 2 years, and I would more likely like to have my years of eligibility for when I go to my 4-year school. So
you know, in that running back room, what's the chemistry like? What's the relationship like with you and Jonathan and the others as you guys really, sharing the football and trying to get your touches throughout the course of a game and a season?
It's just one thing that my position coach told us. He just told us, like, when your name is called, just be ready. You ain't got no choice. You can't get off to a slow start, because that could honestly cost a team. So when you get your shot to get in the game, when you get your run rep, when you got any assignment to do in the game, just make sure you execute your part.
What did you see? You had 16 touches, 128 yards, 3 touchdowns in the win against Iowa Central. What did you see? Why were you so elusive in that game last week?
I say what I saw, like throughout that game, through every carry that I had, I felt like that just everything slowed down. Everything in general, like when I got the ball, I saw the hole. I just had to be patient with it and let it open up so I could get going.
Daniel, we thank you so much for jumping on the JUCO Rush. Best of luck to you throughout the course of the season.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that.
Want your team or business to truly stand out? Look no further than Sport FX Designs. They specialize in high-impact sport graphics and demand attention. Whether it's custom animated logos, sleek animations, or full branding solutions, Sport FX Designs delivers professional, eye-catching visuals that elevate your brand. Head over to www.sportfxdesigns.com and see how they can bring your vision to life. Well, time to check out sports news, and specifically, let's start with NMMI. Up a pivotal conference win over 21-16 Blinn, or beat Blinn 21-16. The game came down to the last play as Raiden Apabong broke up past the goal line to win it for NMMI. We talked about Elliot Pascal-Bell earlier, Mike, but how about NMMI wide receiver Carl Peterson. 94 receiving yards, a touchdown, 7 catches. And then, of course, a Favong finishing with a team high 12 tackles.
A big reason why Pascal Bell had the numbers he had. Good balance of offense, of rushing and throwing. Huge win for Nimi against Blinn last weekend.
Dodge City knocks off Highland on the road, 9-6. Highland was top 10 ranked going into this one in the Jayhawk Conference. Conks are now 2-2 on the season, 1-1 in conference play, with 5 straight wins against Highland in the series. Win also marks the first KJCCC win for first-year head coach Ryan Lesby.
Boy, Ryan Lesby comes in late in the year, really behind the 8 ball, and, man, picks up a couple of big wins early on. Dodge City, Jake Ripple, and Dodge City, they got the right guy.
Itawamba upsets East Mississippi on the road, 36-34 on a game-winning field goal by Eli Burciaga. With less than a minute to play, the loss by EMCC drops them to 1-3. Am I reading that right? 1-3 on the year, 0-2 in the North Division of the MAC-CCC. 3 turnovers by the Lions. Didn't help defensively. Jaden Thompson had 18 tackles, 11 solos, 7 assists with a sack, 2 tackles for a loss, pass breakup, and 2 quarterback hurries, while ICC is in a good position as we hit the halfway point. EMCC is in serious trouble.
Boy, when's the last
conference playoffs?
No doubt. When's the last time you saw East Mississippi 0-2 in the conference, 1-3? I mean, that has been a long time. Again, credit to how tough that league is down there in Mississippi. And, there's still hope for East Mississippi because, like we talked about, a couple of 2-loss teams getting in. But, man, they've got a tough road to climb. Congratulations to Travis Macon and Itawamba. Travis, the head coach down there, that is a huge feather in the headdress for that Indian program. So congratulations to ICC.
Next in the program,
let's
D1 players.
Yeah, let's take a look at some future D1 prospects here. You look at, we talked about how this league continues to put up quality players, and it's a transition for them to move on to Division I, 1AA, and want to look at some guys each week. I want to start out with Jesse Wilson, the defensive lineman at Snow. His latest offer was from Kansas State. This guy's a Power 5 guy, just a quality football player. Boy, Tyler's Jaden Lawton and that defensive back spot. Just picked up his latest offer was from Memphis. Defensive back from Hutchinson, Lamadrick Spencer. He picked up a University of Texas San Antonio offer. Look, these guys are going to get a heck of a lot more offers as we wind toward the end of the season. A defensive lineman for Northwest, DJ Burgess, Houston Cougars offer. Linebacker from East Mississippi, Ty Burton, another one, just picked up a ULM offer. And then you see down there, Pearl River, certainly AJ Prim, one of the best players in the country. He just picked up his latest offer is from the Houston Cougars. So, Robert, as you can see, there are a lot of guys. And again, that's the whole point of this. These guys are getting in here to get that education. And then on top of it, move up to that Division I, 1AA, or even Division II level. But get that education paid for when you move on. And if you're good enough to move on to the NFL or CFL, good. If not, you're put in position to succeed at a very young age.
So we're talking about guys who are looking good at a D1 prospect. What about some guys that are just coming into the league and have already grown their stock?
No doubt about it. Stock rising. We love this segment here. These are guys that have flown under the radar screen. And my 2 guys this week, Keenan Frankston, running back from Pearl River, and Champ Harris, the quarterback out of Trinity Valley. I mean, you look at what Keenan Franks has done. 24 rushes for 134 yards against East Central last week. And the previous week, he ran it 23 times for 141 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, this guy's delivering, and he's going up against good defenses in those games. And then, the Champ Harris, my guy, 12 and 19 for 245 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also rushed it for 37 yards and a score. Those are my 2 guys this week where their stock is rising.
My 2 guys, Chase Richardson. I mean, when you come in and the second game as a starting freshman is against a highly ranked Copiah Lincoln squad, and you knock off Colin, and then, of course, you got a big game this week, too. Chase Richardson has been very impressive this year in learning quickly how to advance from prep ball to college ball. Chase, one of my 2. The other, how about a guy who in his first start as a freshman, Jaden Dukos, had 16 tackles, 7 solo, 9 assists. That is the best in the NJCAA from a standpoint of tackles per game, and he does it in his first outing. Granted, Blinn loses. I know he would prefer to have the W, but some great and impressive stats for Dukos in that week 1.
Hey, their stock is rising. I can't argue with you there. All right, Robert, key games of the week. This is where we select where we think these are the 2 marquee games to watch up. Robert, I'll let you lead it off.
Man, we want to know what Snow is made of, and we may find out as they take on Butler. Butler, of course, losing the first game of the year to Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, but then they have rolled over the last couple of weeks. They're in the top 15. Snow ranked 3, and the question mark is, well, they haven't played stiff enough competition. They took on Lackawanna, won by 3. So we'll see what Snow's made of, what Butler's made of. This is an important game for both. Snow in staying in the hunt for the top 4. Butler trying to get their way back into conversations that has them in the top 4. And then, of course, in the MAC-JC, I was mentioning just a few moments ago, Richardson, the QB at Holmes. Here's another stiff test. He is taking on Jones College, and Jones already sustaining a loss this year, that to Mississippi Gulf Coast. They don't want to lose again. Holmes wants to stay unbeaten. There's only about 4 or 5 teams in the NJCAA, less than halfway through the year, that are remaining unbeaten. Big game. Jones and Holmes, Snow, and Butler.
Excellent choices. Mine, I mirror yours with Snow and Butler. You know, Snow 5-0, Butler coming in with 1 loss. Huge game. Both teams ranked in the NJCAA top 15. Look at that Butler front line. Might be one of the better ones in recent years. Jaden Roper, 7 Cloud and Company. They are dominating teams up front. Want to see how they do against guys like Jesse Wilson and so on for Snow College. And then down in Mississippi, this is a rivalry that has gone back decades. Pearl River and Mississippi Gulf Coast, huge game, long-standing rivalry atop that MACCC South Division. All-time series, Pearl River leads at 56-44 with 1 tie for Gulf Coast. Sophomore Javon Gibson, Trey Hall, those guys are just studs, and they'll play well. And then a pair of freshmen. I mean, Jack Wright has done a terrific job at building this football team in 7 seasons. And this guy just wins games, and he's got a good-looking freshman quarterback in Landon Varnes, another talented freshman wide receiver in Mason Beverly. Want to see what they could do against that Pearl River defense. Pearl River ranks 9th in the country in pass defense, yielding just 135 yards per game. So that is a big game. Yeah, Pearl River is going to be an underdog in that game, but still, nevertheless, because there's not a lot of runway in a season, you know, you fall to tiebreakers. So you lose in your division, particularly down there. You know, it's like a double whammy. You're trying to work your way up from the tiebreaker scenario. So those are our key games of the week. As we wrap up the JUCO Rush podcast, again, special thanks to our guys at Pepsi, Allen Beverages, you know, Pepsi Cola bottler in Gulfport, Mississippi. Really appreciate them jumping on board. They have been refreshingly local since 1947. They get it with JUCO football, and of course, Sport FX Designs, Robert.
Thank you very much, Blake. What a tremendous job. Hey, Mike, what a great first show. Interesting, too, to see what Helene does, or if she does anything, that storm out in the Gulf of Mexico to impact play this weekend. Good luck to all participating, and we'll do this again a week from today.
Sounds good, Robert. We'll see you then.
final episode of the Pest Control Guys. It's the competition that could win them the biggest contract of their life for Karen Moneybags. You won't believe what happens when we let the guys inside the house. It's 3 guys up for 1 contract. Only one can say, I do accept the contract. Next on the Pest Control Guys. Sponsored by Bughouse Pest Control. Protect your house with Bughouse.
Georgia Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia, your home for orthopedic excellence.
Welcome back. It is halftime 7-zip advantage. Georgia Military College. I've been in touch with the folks there in New York. They have had equipment damage, a substantial amount of damage, not only to mixer but video equipment. They thought they were going to be able to get the video up for the second half, but once they secured a different location that was a little drier, they discovered that a lot of the problems they didn't know existed did. So as a result, they will not be able to provide video from New York, which, of course, is the video that we were relying on to be able to bring you coverage. There is a look at their live stats page, and you can see it's a 17-zip Georgia Military College advantage getting ready to go into the second half. A Walker Hicks pick 6, returned it 31 yards with 13:08 to play in the first quarter, the opening drive of the football game for the Mustangs. And Hicks picks it up, brings it in. Bulldogs lead it 7-zip. That would be the only first quarter score. In quarter number 2, Keenan Phillips' 28-yard touchdown run comes at the 4:08 mark. And then Perez adds the extra point. And there you see, 9 seconds left to play in half number 1. And Perez has got his first field goal of the year, as he will boot one through from 36 yards out. Georgia Military taking a 17-zip into the locker room at halftime. So with no video footage, I'm at a loss as to exactly what we should do for the last 2 quarters of the football game. I am tempted to just leave this up and let you watch what happens over the course of a football game. But based on the fact that the weather is inclement there in New York, I'm not sure how timely this information is being disseminated. Typically it is live stats, but it doesn't look real live at the moment. We'll figure it out, come back, and decide what we'll do for the last 2 quarters of this one after this.
The pathways to opportunities are endless at Georgia Military College. Since 1879, we have transformed students into effective leaders and engaged citizens, grounded in civility and respect for others. Whether you want a traditional college experience, something closer to home, or education online that suits your schedule, Georgia Military College is committed to helping you succeed. Start
The Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia, your home for orthopedic excellence.
Well, while we're pondering how to continue with coverage of Georgia Military College going into half number 2 with no video feed no longer available from there in New York. And, of course, all of this kind of necessitated by Helene. Boy, she has been a little more disruptive than we even anticipated to begin with. But why don't we do this while we're waiting to see if the stats will kick on in the third quarter and play will resume. We can take a look at who did what. There you see passing yardage in the first half. Chip Cooper with 67 from Georgia Military College. Oliver with 69 for Monroe. Top receiver, Lee Niles caught a couple. Jones caught 2. Tarmer with 2. And for Monroe, Amon, Simmons, and Brown all on the receiving end. Amon with 2, Simmons and Brown with 1 each. And looking at the receiving yards, Niles 27 total. Jones and Tarver right about the same. 17 for Jones, 16 for Tarver. Amon, top target for Oliver, 25 receiving yards. Simmons with 16 and Brown with 11. In rushing yardage, Traquan Jones, 40 yards total. Keenan Phillips with 38. Chip Cooper has 9 on the other side of the coin. Robinson with 15. The team a -2. That speaks to the defense of Georgia Military College, holding the team as a whole to a -2 yards rushing. And it looks like the second half is underway. Georgia Military College with a football, 2nd and 12 on the 30. And, we're going to keep things rolling, I guess, while we do without video footage there in New York. I thought about doing the shout-out thing in the third. I mean, it really would be unusual to do it with absolutely no video footage to watch. Did get some shout-outs, though, that I want to get to. Shout-out to grandson J.C. Coney, number 31 from Nana in Ohio, saying, "Go Dogs," with a little heart emoji. Also, a big thank you to the gentleman in Cincinnati, Ohio, for the kind words. And, I see. And, we'd love to be. We'll sit down and we will talk. And, of course, Cincinnati, Ohio, watching grandson number 31, Jarris Coney, number 4 in total tackles in the NJCAA. And they are very proud and rightfully so. Shout out to Keenan Phillips from Cousin Tommy in Brooklyn, New York. You're not too far from Mount Vernon. And he will say, "Go Bulldogs." As we have got third quarter action underway here. And obviously we're not at the end of the quarter, so I'm not sure how accurate these live stats are going to be from Monroe. And again, we're going to attribute most of the issues to weather. It is raining and it is miserable in New York. Over to the right side of your screen, you can take a look at what happened first down-wise. Georgia Military College dominating in that category with a total of 12 first downs as compared to 5 rushing attempts. Again, 10 more for the Bulldogs, and obviously that led to far more rushing yardage. Receptions, more of those for the Bulldogs. Receiving yards, boy, they land in so many different categories. Passing yards at 88. You see the tosses, 10 of 16 for Cooper. Oliver's thrown a couple of picks. I believe Haynes had one and Hicks had the other. Hicks returning his pick for 6. Plays and yardage, 38 plays, 178 yards for Georgia Military, 31 for 66 for Monroe. As we are now in third stanza action, kickoff return yardage. But of course, it's going to be a little taller for Monroe based on the fact that they've had more kicks to them on the 2 touchdowns versus Georgia Military College, who had just the 1. Meanwhile, punt returns 3 for 8 yards, and there has not been punt return yardage for Monroe. And there is a look at some of the complete stats in regards to Georgia Military College and Monroe. So with video footage gone, we will leave this up. And it's our only option in being able to let you know what's going on there in New York. More shout-outs coming in. Shout-out to Keenan Phillips for the Marshalls and Climax, Georgia. We love our greats, says the shout-out. We are into the third stanza. And again, video feeds from New York, non-existent. Travel to New York, well, couldn't do it from South Alabama. So we are stuck with taking a look at their live stats, which don't appear to be particularly live at the moment. Stuck at 12:55, and I think we have been there for a bit. Thanks for the shout-outs. Thanks for the understanding of all this inclement weather and what it has created from a standpoint of coverage of Georgia Military College football. A reminder, next week, if Mama Nature will cooperate, and we're hoping she will, we'll be off to Casey, South Carolina. Lewisburg and Georgia Military, a 3 p.m. Eastern start. And we'll have live coverage for you. And in this particular case, the road should be passable to that part of South Carolina. And we will be there for the coverage. 17-zip. GMC lead in the third. And it is Monroe now with the football, as you can see on the Georgia Military College 29-yard line, a 5-play drive that has now consumed 48 yards, first down and 10. And Reagan Oliver has just completed a pass to Evan Harrington for 3 yards. There's been a GMC penalty tacked on that kind of aided the cause of allowing Monroe to get so deep into Bulldog territory of face masking. Now an incomplete pass, and it is second down and 10 as we are into the third stanza in still a 17-zip ball game. I'll leave it up, periodically try to intersperse some updated information on our end. Georgia Military trying to improve on that 4-1 mark, leading at 17-zip. Got more shout-outs coming in as we have hit the 8:55 mark inside the third. And it looks like a 3rd down and 10 for Monroe. They are at the Georgia Military College 29. And there is a timeout on the field. Another shout-out, this one to Gabe Pierce, number 61 for Mom Katie. Ephraim, Nana, and Papa watching from Fitzgerald, Georgia. We love you. Make those pancakes. We're talking about those football kind of pancakes, I'm pretty certain. 17-zip Georgia Military College lead. And again, just trying to improvise because of what Helene did. Video footage down because of what rain has done in New York today and the wind has done in New York. Thank you very much to all the gang there for their diligent effort in trying to be able to get you a video feed. You saw early where they were wiping the lens. It's just miserable weather in New York. But Monroe University did everything they could to be able to bring footage, lost some gear. And as a result, here's what we're stuck with. Stats for their live stats page, and it looks like Monroe has just got on the board on an Oliver touchdown strike of 29 yards to Evan Harrington. It made it a 17-6 ball game with the extra point pending, and that is with 8:50 to play in the third. So Monroe is on the board through the air. Oliver to Harrington from 29 yards out. We'll let you watch, and we will periodically break in. Hey, got another shout out, looks like. Let's give this one to number 16, Michael Roberts from Warner Robins. Love Mom and JB. Let's get it, Bulldogs. Thank you so much for the shout out, and thanks for watching. Waiting to see the result of the extra point try to see if it is a 17-7, 17-8, or a 17-6 ball game. Georgia Military College and Monroe. And there you see the extra point kick from Tejada. 17-7 ball game. 8:50 to play in the third. in the third quarter. And there you see the live stat page from Monroe University, 17-7 score in Georgia Military. And Monroe's on the board. Compliments of a touchdown strike Oliver to Harrington, but Georgia Military trying to quickly respond. Got a 3rd and 5 at the Monroe 24, a 5-play, 51-yard drive at the moment. And Chip Cooper has just rushed 3 yards down to the 24, where it is a 3rd down and 5. More shout-outs, too, coming in. Shout-out to Quan Floyd, number 20, from Mom and Family in Kingsland, Georgia. We love you, and go Dogs. Yep, we're kind of doing a hodgepodge here on a third quarter Saturday afternoon Georgia Military Mustang football game. And we got Mama Nature to thank for it. Touchdown, Bulldogs. Keenan Phillips, another TD, is second of the ball game, 24 yards out. And the Bulldogs have expanded that lead again to 16, hoping to extend it to 17 with 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. And we can take a peek, if you would like, at some of the stats at this particular moment. Passing yardage, Cooper with 72, Oliver with 120, reception yardage, Niles 27, Amin for Monroe with 61, rushing yardage, Jones 73, Phillips 64, Robinson leading it for Monroe with 26. And the extra point kick good from Perez. And the Bulldogs now lead it 24-7 with 5 minutes left to play in the third. Well, if you're just joining us, we are situated on the live stats page from Monroe University. Lost video feed, inclement weather in New York. So the only option, other than to simply shut down coverage, is to go to this and get you updated periodically. And occasionally stick in some shout-outs. Way to go, KPA. We love you, Keenan Phillips from Grandpa and Grandma in Bainbridge, Georgia. And a shout-out to number 20, Quan Floyd. Lexi loves you. Thank you very much, Lexi. 24-7 ball game. One score in the first stanza. Pick 6 from Walker Hicks. Phillips with a touchdown in the second stanza, and Perez with a field goal, and then Phillips again in quarter number 3. And the Perez extra point kick good has pushed it out to a 24-7 lead. Bulldogs now out in front by 30. Traquan Jones, 18-yard touchdown run as time runs out in the third. And the extra point kick forthcoming. And it could be a 31-7 GMC lead headed into the fourth. You're watching an improvised version of Georgia Military College football, compliments of Mother Nature.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby, got me falling hard for you. And still, I felt this way before, you know it's true. And still, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
Georgia Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship-trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia, your home for orthopedic excellence.
Well, if you're just joining us and going, what in the heck is going on? Well, again, to recap, Helene traveled from South Alabama to New York, non-existent on Friday. Rain and wind in New York today knocked out the video crew from Monroe University, tore up their gear, ruined some stuff. So here's what we've got. We're resorting to their live stats page. It is a 31-7 Georgia Military College lead headed into the fourth. What we can do for you, though, is take a look at some stats in real time. There's your rushing leaders for Georgia Military. Jones with 94, Phillips with 64, Cooper with 34 for Monroe, Robinson and everybody else in negative yardage. Pass yardage, Cooper's got 72, and Oliver's got 120. If you're looking at receiving yardage, Niles 27, Jones 17, Tarver 16, and for Monroe, Amon with 61 to lead Monroe. Well, we can't leave the defenders out, right? Let's take a look at the leading tacklers. McCray with 3, Baker and Carter 2 each for the Bulldogs, Johnson and Courtney 6 each for Monroe. Let's see if there's been any sacks, just 1, and that was Monroe's D'Angelo Inamore, who registered the sack. You want the QB rating? Heck, might as well. Tarver threw a pass. That's why he's got a 167.2. But Cooper at 100, Oliver at 74.5. Oliver's thrown a couple of picks, and that, of course, has impacted his QB rating. What about touchdowns? Phillips, 2 more. How many did he have coming into today? Like 8? We thumbed through stats, and I can give you specifically how many touchdowns. He had, 8, now 10 on the year for Phillips. And over to the right side of your screen, you are looking at team statistics. And it's been pretty dominant on the Georgia Military College side. That last drive, by the way, Traquan Jones scoring from 18 yards out. Perez tacking on the extra point. And it's punched out to a 31-7 lead as we are now in the fourth quarter. And Georgia Military College on top. Couple of shout-outs. Keenan Phillips, number 8, keep grinding. Love Mom, Dad, and Braylon. And a shout-out to Chip Cooper from Mama, Daddy, Nana, and Papa, listening from Sylvester. Go get them, number 3. And right now, the number 6 ranked team in the country. Georgia Military College leading it 31-7 with just about all of the fourth to go. And by the way, if you are interested in the top rankings, Hutch is number 1, Iowa Western number 2, Snow is 3, 4 is Mississippi Gulf Coast, Kilgore is 5, and it is Georgia Military College who is number 6. Well, I guess we could take a look, if you'd like, at what is happening elsewhere in the NJCAA. Of course, there was football on Thursday in Mississippi. At least most of the Mississippi teams played on Thursday, and not necessarily the upset, but somewhat of a surprise to at least some was that Holmes win over Jones County. And it was a final score of 35-22, Holmes knocking off Jones. East Central beat Hines 42-13 on Thursday. Copiah Lincoln 42-16 over Southwest Mississippi. It was Itawamba 35-17 winner over Mississippi Delta. Mississippi Gulf Coast knocks off Pearl River 41-14, and Northwest over Northeast in the Battle of the Mississippis 28-20. And let's see if we've got any scores we can pass along to you from today. Hudson Valley 10-7 over Erie, 2:23 to play in the first half. DuPage has beaten Minnesota State 2-0. That was not a safety difference, by the way. It was a forfeit and apparently a point per half. 2-0 DuPage beats Minnesota State. Garden City all over Community College. I make that Community Christian out of Michigan. 63-0 the final score. Dodge City has beaten Iowa Central 25-24. Hutchinson a 59-0 lead over Ellsworth. They're in the third quarter. They're Highland with a 14-7 lead, a half minute away from halftime over Independence. Iowa Western handling Coffeyville 35-6, 3:37 to play in the first half. They're getting the second quarter underway, and Snow down by a touchdown to Butler, and that's a 7-0 score. Kahoma leading East Mississippi 7-0. What in the heck is going on in East Mississippi? Kahoma with a 7-0 lead. East Mississippi's already lost 3. I think 1 and 3 coming into today. And if you're wondering what the teams ahead of Georgia Military College in the rankings are doing, of course, Hutch is not playing. We mentioned the fact that Iowa Western's got the big lead. We know that Snow is down to Butler. We know that Mississippi Gulf Coast won on Thursday. Kilgore plays a little later on this afternoon against Cisco. Well, you see a score. It is Monroe that has punched it in. Oliver, another touchdown strike, his second of the football game, to Kaheem Powell for 13 yards. And the Tejada extra point kick good. It is a 31-14 ball game now in the fourth stanza. And Tejada about to kick it off from Georgia Military College with right at 12 minutes to play in the football game. Well, as you can see, inside 12 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, and the Bulldogs with the football at the Monroe 36-yard line after Keenan Phillips' 2-yard run. And it is a first down and 10 as we kind of play it by ear as to how to keep you updated in regards to that game. And a reminder, too, that there's more coming up on JockJive here in just a little bit, 3 o'clock. It'll be volleyball if that's your cup of tea. Coastal Alabama North's Coyotes and Pearl River. And all this weekend, we are bringing you Fall League Baseball from Wicksburg High School here on JockJive. Ball at the 36, first and 10 Bulldogs. 31-14. Jones working on the possibility of another 100-yard rushing day with 94 total yards in the game. And it's been Phillips on a couple of touchdowns, Jones on one, Hicks with an interception return for the other. Perez has tacked on a 36-yard field goal for Monroe, a couple of touchdown strikes from Oliver. And with less than 12 now to play in the fourth, Bulldogs 31-14. Well, you can see the Bulldogs have again scored. This time it is Phillips from 3 yards out, his 3rd touchdown of the game, his 11th of the year. And Georgia Military College awaiting the Perez kick to take a 38-14 lead. Looks like Jaden Brown has checked into the ball game for Georgia Military College. And there's less than 9 minutes now to play in the football game. If you are just joining us and like, what in the heck is going on? Well, again, to recap, you know all the issues weather-related. And then there were issues today weather-related in New York. So the only option to be able to bring you video feed was them remotely, and Monroe University. Boy, they braved the storm, the elements. But rain took out some gear, including cameras. So as a result, you've got this, the live stats page from Monroe University, a 38-14 ball game, less than 9 minutes to play in the football game. And Phillips has had 3 touchdown runs. Jones 1, Hicks 1, Perez with a field goal. And taking a look at your statistical leaders in the NJCAA, passing-wise, Deckers out of Iowa Western, 1,310 yards. Landon Barnes from Mississippi Gulf Coast, 1,000 yards. Gunnar Smith from Highland, 955. Wyatt Hagan, the guy that Georgia Military College faced last weekend, quarterback at Lackawanna, 875. Donnie Smith, the quarterback they will face in about a month, 871 yards. Meanwhile, touchdowns. Donnie Smith of Snow, and these, by the way, touchdowns throwing, 15 total. Barnes of Mississippi Gulf Coast, 15. Deckers of Iowa Western, 11. Hagan from Lackawanna, 10. Richardson from Holmes with 9. And the best completion percentage belongs to Diego Tello of Trinity Valley, completing over 70% of his passes. And let's see if we can get some other information for you. Statistically, in the NJCAA, got passing yardage. Looking to see if we can find out who's leading, like in the rushing yardage category. As we look at a 38-14 score here, and there's got to be rushing stats somewhere. I'm just not finding them at the moment. Receiving yardage. Davis from Trinity Valley, 113 per game. Bryant of Highland, 109. Myers from Iowa Western, 106. Davis from Trinity Valley with 102. And Stone from Cisco with 99 yards. Here's your rushing leaders. Hull out of Mississippi Gulf Coast, 137 yards per game. Jordan from Hutch, 132. Petit from Northwest Mississippi, 123. Jones from Coffeyville, 104. And Edwards from Lackawanna, 103. How about your touchdown leaders? Coming into today, Petit of Northwest Mississippi had 9, but he played on Thursday. Phillips is playing today, and he's got 3, a total of 11. Now leads the NJCAA. Hall with Mississippi Gulf Coast, Edwards from Lackawanna, and Kenshin from GMC with a total of 6. And that's a look at some of your statistical leaders across the NJCAA as we see the ball game is now inside 9 to play. 38-14, Georgia Military College. Phillips and Jones both with 94 yards rushing, and Cooper with 34. Team leader for Monroe, 35 from Robinson. Looking at pass yardage, Cooper 72. Tarver 16. I am assuming that actually belongs to Cooper, unless, of course, there was some flea flicker over the course of the ball game, and Tarver actually completed a pass. But we'll make the assumption that is yardage that should be attributed to Cooper. Oliver with 168 for Monroe. Reception yardage. Niles 27. Jones 17 coming out of the backfield for Georgia Military. Amin has 79 yards receiving for Monroe. There's those touchdown totals. Phillips 3, Jones 1, Hicks 1 for Georgia Military. Harrington and Powell 1 each for Monroe, and they've both been on the receiving end of touchdown strikes from Oliver. Tackles, Hall still actually now leading Georgia Military with 3. Baker's got 3, and McCray 3 too. So a 3-way tie for tops in that particular department for Georgia Military. Johnson's got 7 to lead Monroe. What about sacks? GMC's got 1 now. Darian Smith with 1. D'Angelo Inamore with 1 for Monroe. As we get you updated statistically with about 8:40 to play in the football game, and Georgia Military leading at 38-14. To the right side of your screen, you see all the team stats, and Georgia Military leading handily in most. The difference would be in pass yardage, 201 as compared to 88. For Monroe leading in that category. But first downs, rushing attempts, rushing yards per carry, all those are GMC-led stats. And it's a 38-14 game with Monroe currently in possession of the football at the 28 of Georgia Military. 3rd and 9 on a 4-play drive that has currently consumed 43 yards. Georgia Military looking to improve to 5-1 and put the Mustangs at a 500 mark. Well, you see a sack of the quarterback Oliver, a loss of downs. Georgia Military takes over. 5:33 to play in the football game, leading at 38-14 on a rainy, windy day in New York that has seen Mother Nature wreak havoc on all kinds of stuff, electronic video gear included. GMC with the football at the 28. And Kinchin on an 8-yard run makes it a 2nd down and 2. As that football game gets near the 5-minute mark. Again, our apologies. It's the improv that was necessary to try to get you some form of coverage, and it was actually working out pretty good. It was going to be experimental. Video footage from New York while I sit in my studio in Alabama. And everything was doing pretty good until the rain and the wind wreaked havoc on the video gear in New York. If it was a sunny day in New York, I would say the experiment worked out perfectly. It's not sunny. It's raining and windy. As a matter of fact, I can look at my iPhone weather app and let you know exactly what it is like in Mount Vernon. Rain expected to return in 15 minutes, 70 degrees. And let's see what the wind is doing. Gusting to 24 there in New York. But it looks like Georgia Military College is going to have a happy ending to this one. Leading at 38-14 with less than 5:33 to play in the football game. Kenshin, a 4-yard loss moments ago. 2nd and 14, ball near midfield at 47 for Georgia Military College. Next week, we will head to Casey, South Carolina. I will be there. I don't have to take the path that would send me through floodwaters and landslides. And we'll have coverage for you for a 3 o'clock Central start, Lewisburg and Georgia Military College. And then, of course, a week off for the Bulldogs before they get back to Davenport Field. And nothing today has hurt that ranking for the Bulldogs. Come into the game as the number 16 in the country. So they haven't hurt their rankings. And they could use some help from some friends. And Mike can move up in the rankings. Hutch not playing apparently. So they'll stay 1. Iowa Western is winning big, and they will stay 2. Snow, though, taking on Butler. Down, but very early in that ball game. 7-zip. So we'll keep an eye posted there. And then, of course, Gilgore is playing a little bit later on. Let's see if we've got an update on that Snow game against Butler. Yeah, Butler's now got a 14-zip lead over Snow with 8:44 to play in the first half. So if Snow loses, Georgia Military College, good chance of moving up a notch with a win today. You see it's a 2nd and 24. Penalty yardage marked off against the Bulldogs. Jalen Brown is now in at QB for GMC. Chip Cooper's got the rest of the day off in the rain and wind there in New York. And the ball is at the GMC 37 on a drive that has now consumed 9 yards and 3 plays with less than 5:33 to go. Well, you see a fumble. Monroe University pouncing on the loose ball. They've got the ball with 3:04 to play at the Georgia Military College 34 with a first down and 10. But with, 3 scores separating the two? That is a difficult total to overcome with 3:04 to go. By the way, breaking into our coverage, I mentioned Hutch apparently had the week off. I don't know how I missed the fact. They were up big over Ellsworth. They're up even bigger now. So, no, they don't have the week off, but it's almost like they do. They lead Ellsworth now 73-zip. So we know the one team is going to remain 1. The 2 team will remain 2. Snow is losing at the moment by a couple of touchdowns to Butler, but a long way to go in that game. Mississippi Gulf Coast, the 4 team has already won. 5th-ranked Kilgore will play Cisco tonight. So Georgia Military College looking at Snow and Kilgore since Gulf Coast has won. Hutch is winning. Iowa Western winning big. They are looking at Snow and Kilgore as 2 teams that could help them move forward a little bit, like to 5 or maybe even 4. Leading at 38-14. And it is Monroe with the football at the 39-yard line. 2nd down and 15 after the Oliver incomplete pass to Brown. Less than 3 minutes now to play in the football game there in New York. Inside 3 to go, and Oliver's hit his 3rd touchdown strike of the afternoon. 2nd one to Amin. This one from 39 yards out. And the extra point try coming up as Monroe has trimmed it to a... I'm assuming they're going to go for 2 and try to cut it to a 2-score ball game. 2:51 to play. And let's see, do I know how many timeouts Monroe has left? I am looking, and I don't see that information available at the moment. Let's hope they don't have many. 38-20 score, and let's see what happens on the conversion. They did not try for the 2. Theana's kick fails, and it is a 20-38 3-score game. I'm a little surprised. Thought that they might go for the 2, turn it into a 2-score ball game, but instead opt for the 1. Tejada's kick misses. It is a 38-20 ball game. Inside 3 minutes to play in that one. And you can see the onside kick tried by Tejada and is recovered by Georgia Military College at the Monroe 49, where it is first down and 10 with 2 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in the football game. And we can take another look at stats if you'd like. There's your rushing stats. Jones and Phillips both working on a 100-yard game with 97 each. Phillips with 34. Robinson, the lone positive ground gainer for Monroe with a total of 35. Pass yards, Cooper 72. And we're thinking those 16 Tarver passing yards probably belong to Cooper. Oliver's had a pretty big day with 241 and 3 touchdowns. Amin's been his favorite target, 79 passing yards received, and a couple of touchdowns for Amin. Meanwhile, Niles has been the number 1 guy receive yardage for Georgia Military with 27. Touchdowns, big day for Phillips. 3 touchdowns, now 11 on the year. That is tops in the NJCAA. Meanwhile, tackles. Hull with 4 to lead all Bulldogs. Jordan with 7 on top for Monroe. And there have been now 2 GMC sacks. 1 from Hull, 1 from Smith. And Inamar's got 1 for Monroe. And that's a look at your individual leaders as the football game is now at the 2-minute mark. And the Bulldogs with a 38-20 lead. Football on the Monroe 32, second down and 5. It hasn't been easy and it has been messy in New York, but it looks like Georgia Military is about to improve to 5-1 on the year and get ready for an outing next week in South Carolina. Trayvon Kinchin may have just sealed a 32-yard touchdown run with 1:53 to play in the football game. I'm going to step out on a limb and not say may have, but just sealed it. As he scores from 32 yards out. And the Bulldogs will push that lead out to 44-14 with Perez good on the extra point kick. 45-20 now with 1:53 left to play in the football game. Georgia Military came into the football game as one of the top scoring offenses in the country, and they've done nothing to hurt that today. 45 points on the board, and Kinchin adding a touchdown. Kinchin is into the end zone now for the 7th time this year. And Georgia Military now with a 45-20 lead. Less than a couple of minutes to play in the football game. And let's see if we can update you quickly, too, on elsewhere, see if anything has changed, specifically with snow. We know that Kilgore gets underway shortly. They've got Cisco, and I believe that is a 4 p.m. first kick. 2:42 to go in the first half. And Butler leading it 45-zip. Oh, scratch that. 14-zip. Boy, would be nice to know that Butler was on top. 45-zip over Snow, but no, 14-0. And nothing against you, Snow, except that you're ahead of Georgia Military College in the standings, in the polls, and we want everybody that's ahead to get behind them and GMC to move forward. Butler 14-zip over Snow, 2:42 to play in the first half in that one. 45-zip score. It is Georgia Military on top. We're anticipating the ensuing Perez kickoff and Monroe to start what we're thinking, we're hoping will be their last drive of the football game. Well, you can see the ball game drawing to a conclusion. 1:35 to play. Bulldogs 45-20. Monroe just hit with a 5-yard infraction for delay of game. So why don't we take a look at some stats, some numbers as the game winds down. And again, our apologies. Lost the feed video-wise in the first half from Monroe University, but they have been so good at working with us. And really might have stayed out of the elements a little longer than they should have, trying to be able to get us a feed because we weren't able to make the trip because of Helene. Jones, Phillips, both with about 97 yards in rushing yardage. When this live stat resets itself for some reason, it wants to go back a bit and then bump forward. But Jones and Phillips both with 97, Robinson 36. And again in the passing department, there you see, and we think that's about 90 yards for Cooper. Oliver 241. Touchdowns, Phillips, big day. 3 touchdowns, 11 now on the year. Receptions, Niles 2, Jones 2. 27 receiving yards, Amin 79. For Monroe. And over to the right side of the screen, you see the stats team-wise, and there you see that it is final. 45-20. Georgia Military College has won it. And there's the rundown of stats. 309 rushing yards as compared to 8. That's basically it in a nutshell. And Georgia Military College will win it, improving to 5-1 on the year. Mustangs dropped to 2-2. And again, thanks so much for being so tolerant of our issues in trying to be able to overcome the elements, the adversity, the obstacles, to be able to bring you the coverage of Georgia Military College football. They won it 45-20. Your final score will be in South Carolina next week. I almost guarantee it. Don't want to get too cocky and say absolutely, positively, but that's the plan. And we'll have it for you at 3 o'clock Eastern. You want volleyball? We are 13 minutes away or thereabouts from Pearl River and Coastal North Volleyball. Jared Bell's on the coverage. Got some baseball, too. Jason Thompson is in Wicksburg for ABC Fall League Baseball. Thanks for being on the other end of the broadcast. Robert Williamson for JockJive. Congratulations, Bulldogs. And by the way, we're going to do our best to get a conversation with Rob Manchester recorded and posted on YouTube shortly. Bulldogs win it. So long, everybody.